Have you ever experienced that cruel irony of existence? It feels as if there is an invisible law. The more intensely you desire something, the more desperately you pull it towards you, the faster it slips away into the mist. The harder you try to keep a situation in a tight grip, the quicker it crumbles like dry sand through your fingers. The louder your internal scream about the fear of loss, the more that fear begins to dictate your every move, turning life into an endless race against a shadow. And in the end, you find yourself not at the peak of success, but at the bottom of emotional burnout, exhausted not by life itself, but by the constant, draining tension caused by the thirst for total control. Today, I want to offer you an idea that can flip your perception of reality and the very concept of desire upside down. This is not about giving up, lying on the couch, and abandoning your dreams. It is about the great art of wanting lightly, about the ability to desire without destroying yourself with anxious anticipation. Stop right now, in this second. Recall what you have been so passionately striving for lately. Perhaps it is a new career stage that seems like a lifeline, or a deeper relationship where you seek completion, or a financial breakthrough that you think will solve all your problems. Now ask yourself an honest, ruthless question. Why do I want this? What feeling am I expecting when it happens? And most importantly, what stops me from feeling this right now without external attributes? Perhaps the issue is not the goal itself, but the heaviness, the weight you have attached to it. The ancient Stoics taught us a fundamental truth. Inner freedom begins where the attempt to control the uncontrollable ends. That is exactly what we will talk about today. About how, by letting go, we begin to receive. Not because of magic or esotericism, but because life is a flow, and it flows easier when we don't build dams out of our obsessive neuroses. Before we dive into this philosophy, I ask you to take one small action. Right now, in the comments, write a manifesto phrase. I release control and choose trust. I am a Stoic. Write this not just as a set of letters, but as a firm commitment to yourself. It is a scientifically proven fact. Our brain is plastic. When you record an affirmation with intention, you physically begin to rewire neural connections. Writing this sentence is an act of will, a way to witness your dedication to your own peace. Did you do it? Then let's begin. The first paradox we encounter is the paradox of searching. The more fiercely you try to achieve peace, the more chaos you generate. Why? Because excessive effort is itself an obstacle. The great Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy." But we do exactly the opposite. We try to bend reality to our scripts. We rush time, demand guarantees, bang on closed doors. And when the universe does not obey our whims, we fall into despair. However, the peace you seek is born not in struggle, but in trust. Imagine a mountain lake. It perfectly reflects the full moon. The moment you plunge your hands into the water, trying to grab this moon, the surface ripples, the mud rises from the bottom, and the image disappears. The more actively you try to hold the reflection, the murkier the water becomes. But if you just stop, remove your hands, and breathe, the water will calm down on its own, and the moon will return. Life works exactly the same way. What you try to control out of fear runs away. What you accept with trust comes on its own. To let go does not mean to lose. It means changing the point of leverage. Instead of fear, choose clarity. And when you refuse the obsession with control, something inside you changes. The tension dissipates, and what seemed unreachable begins to naturally approach. This is not sorcery, friends. This is wisdom in action. Stoicism does not call for abandoning dreams. It calls for freeing yourself from the blind, animalistic need to hold everything in your own hands. Real strength begins with acceptance. When you act out of fear, you react with desperation and make mistakes. When you act out of trust, you make decisions with the precision of a surgeon. And this is what changes your results. Seneca claimed, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." A sage who is at peace with the present will never become a slave to what he does not yet have. Calm down. Do not chase happiness like a mechanical rabbit at the races. It is not outside. It manifests when you stop fighting against what is happening now. You do not need to beg for love, prove your worth, or claw for recognition. Stoic acceptance is not passivity. It is clarity. It is a focus on the essential. It is the courage to trust life without clinging to the illusion of a steering wheel that is not actually connected to anything. When you realize this, a new force is born within you, not loud and hysterical, but calm and unshakable. Perhaps right now is the moment to take this step. Right, I choose trust. This is not just a phrase for algorithms. This is your new attitude towards life. As Andy Warhol said, as soon as you stop wanting something, you get it. It sounds counterintuitive, but there is a deep psychological mechanism hidden in this. Second aspect, what is yours comes when you become whole. We are used to thinking that we need to run after everything to prove our competence. But the truth is that what is truly yours will never come while you are pleadingly reaching for it with trembling hands. It comes when you are filled with peace within yourself, when you are in harmony with your values. Seneca said, "Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little." This is the real key. He who lives in anxiety, trying to prove his worth through external attributes, will never feel satisfied, even after getting what he wanted. And so, much moves away from us not because we do not deserve it, but because we have not yet given ourselves true value. You cannot expect stability from life if discord reigns within you. You cannot build harmonious relationships if you constantly betray yourself trying to please everyone. You cannot attract abundance if you constantly act out of scarcity, sabotaging yourself from the inside. In your integrity, the world finds support. It is precisely when you stop begging for attention that you begin to cultivate self-respect. When, instead of screaming for recognition, you begin to respect yourself silently, the world feels it. This happens even in small things, in the process of life. Luck finds you halfway and gives you what was already yours, not out of pity, but out of alignment. Third, constant focus on lack only multiplies it. There is an internal state that often goes unnoticed. It is the focus on absence. Attention itself defines what we attract into our lives. When the mind is focused only on what is missing, on the love that didn't come, on the money that didn't appear, on the recognition that didn't happen, it fuels a sense of constant need. Thus, we unconsciously form a state of chronic neediness which deprives us of inner peace and strength. The problem is not that you desire something. The problem is that you live with the feeling that you are missing everything. Every morning you wake up with the thought that something vital is absent, and this begins to determine your mood, your ideas, your decisions. Epictetus said, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." And the most dangerous of these is the thought, "I will be happy only when." This thought launches an invisible vicious circle. The more you think about what you don't have, the deeper you root yourself in deficit as part of your identity. It's like the old parable. 2 flies and 2 bees fly the same path. One fly lands only on dirt, seeing trash everywhere. The bee finds only flowers, colors, fragrance. The world was the same, but the view was different. Your mind works the same way. What you focus on grows. If you see only lack, you will be convinced that nothing is enough. But if you learn to see what you already have, what you can create, everything changes. A mind focused on lack is blind to possibilities. But when you shift focus from what is missing to what you can create, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your own reality. To let go of the feeling of lack does not mean that everything will change instantly.
It means that you stop feeding it with your energy. Generosity begins as an internal state and only then becomes an external result. Therefore, instead of the phrase, "I need this to be happy," say, "I already have everything within me to start." And watch what changes. Because when you let go of the identity of a person who is always missing something, you begin to live like someone who already has, and the world responds to exactly that energy. Friends, do not forget that in our community, we publish additional materials about Stoic practices and time management techniques. Join to get a daily dose of inspiration and become better every day. Fourth, live as if it has already happened. You do not attract what you desire with anxiety. You attract what you are in resonance with. The mind demands proof, and one who behaves as if they are still waiting only confirms that they do not believe in success themselves. But